Listen, you pervert, why don't you go over to Lamb Kai? They could use a little of this.
You piggy cunt. You want my fat cock too?
Oh, why don't you go find a wall socket and stick your tongue in it? That'll give you a charge.
I'll stick my tongue up your pretty pussy.
You fucking creep!
I'm going to kill you.
BoogeyMan band coming round the bend. Is BoogeyMan band? Is BoogeyMan band?
Greetings, my fellow Fright Fiends, and thanks so much for stopping by the Horror Zone channel. I hope everyone's doing well. Today's video is going to be celebrating a milestone for a truly classic horror film. And this film was released back in 1974. Of course, I'm talking about Bob Clark's classic Black Christmas. Now, I did a review of Black Christmas back in 2017. I actually did a review of Black Christmas and Black Xmas, the 2006 remake, which is actually the first one that I saw. Now, I used to work in San Francisco. I worked for a company called StubHub. I used to work with this great guy named Sean, and he used to tell me about this film all the time. And the remake came out in 2006, so I saw that one in 2007. I didn't see it in the movie theater. So around that time, he was telling me about the original one. He's like, you got to check out the original Black Christmas. And I remember I borrowed his copy of it, watched it, and I didn't really care for it at first. And then over time, I just revisited it. It was on, I saw it on cable and checked it out again. Then I picked up the Scream Factory release back in 2017, and it has become one of my favorite films of all time. And just like myself, I turned 50 this year. Black Christmas is turning 50 this year. On December 20th, it'll be officially 50 years since it was released here stateside. It actually came out in Canada on October the 11th of 1974. Yeah, this film is truly just timeless, and I just love the setting at the sorority house with the phone calls from the caller who says his name is Billy. The fact that you never really see Billy, and just the classic setup for some of the kills in this film. Fantastic cast, fantastic execution. Like I said, it has the horror, it has the humor. It all really comes together beautifully with the amazing Christmas setting. Yeah, I love this film so much, and I thought for the 50th anniversary I would do a little retrospective, pay tribute on this, and talk about some facts behind the making of the film and the cast and everything. So I hope everyone enjoys this. Black Christmas is a 1974 Canadian slasher film produced and directed by Bob Clark and written by Roy Moore. It stars Olivia Hussey, Keir Dullea, Margot Kidder, and John Saxon. The story follows a group of sorority sisters who receive threatening phone calls and are eventually stalked and murdered by a killer during the Christmas season. Black Christmas was initially developed by Canadian screenwriter Roy Moore, who wrote the screenplay under the title Stop Me. Inspirations for the film came from the urban legend known as The Babysitter and the Man Upstairs, which had become widespread during the 1970s. Moore claimed to have been inspired by a series of murders that occurred during the holiday season in the Westmont area of Montreal. As noted in an article for The Telegraph, the murders, which occurred in 1943, were perpetrated by a 14-year-old boy who bludgeoned several of his family members to death. Film producers Harvey Sherman and Richard Scouten had Timothy Bond rewrite the script to give it a university setting. Director and producer Bob Clark, who had felt the original script was too much of a straightforward slasher film, made several alterations in dialogue and also incorporated humorous elements into the film, particularly the drunkenness of Barb and Mrs. Mack, the latter of whom Clark based on his aunt. Clark felt that college and high school students had not been depicted with any sense of reality in American film, and that he intended to capture the astuteness of young adults, college students, even in 1974, as astute people. They're not fools. It's not bikinis, beach blankets, and bingo. Olivia Hussey, who had previously garnered international fame for her role as Juliet in Romeo and Juliet from 1968, signed on to appear in the film after being told by a psychic that she would make a film in Canada that would earn her a great deal of money. The role of Mrs. Mack was offered to Bette Davis, who declined the part. Margot Kidder was cast in the role of Barb, and she said she'd been attached to the character because she was wild and out of control, and not a conventional leading part. For the role of Claire Harrison, whose murder jumpstarts the film's plot, Toronto native Lynn Griffin was cast after her mother, who was also her casting agent at the time, got her an audition. Griffin would later go on to star in Curtains and in the acclaimed television series Wind at My Back. Gilda Radner was offered the role of Phyllis Carlson. She accepted the part but dropped out 1 month before filming began, owing to Saturday Night Live commitments, and replaced by fellow Second City comedy troupe performer Andrea Martin. The role of Lieutenant Fuller was originally given to Edmund O'Brien. Upon his arrival to the set, however, the producers realized he would be unable to fulfill the duties required for the part due to his failing health stemming from Alzheimer's disease. John Saxon, who had read the script prior, was called by the producers who offered him the role. He accepted and had to arrive in Toronto from New York City within 2 days to begin shooting. Clark always intended to cast Saxon from the beginning, as he was his first choice for the role. For the role of the film's antagonist, Italian-Canadian actor Nick Mancuso was cast as one of the main voices in the phone call sequences. The film was shot from March 25th to May 11th, 1974 at a cost of $686,000, with $200,000 coming from the Canadian Film Development Corporation. The house featured in the film had been discovered by Clark while scouting for locations, and its owners agreed to lease the home for the production. In the film involving POV shot of Billy scaling the house was accomplished through the use of rig designed by camera operator Burt Dunk, which was attached to Dunk's head as he climbed up the side of the house. Griffin's death scene, which was shot with a handheld camera as the killer lunges from the closet, was genuine, as the actress later recalled. It was a total shock because I didn't really know when to expect him to jump out. Shots of Claire's corpse in the rocking chair required the actress to wear an actual plastic bag over her head for extended periods of time. Griffin would also state that these scenes were relatively easy for her. I was actually and still am a fairly good swimmer, so I can hold my breath for a long time, and I could keep my eyes open for a long time without blinking. Kidder remembered shooting the film as being fun. I really bonded with Andrea Martin. Filming in Toronto and Ontario, Olivia Hussey was a bit of an odd one. She was obsessed with the idea of falling in love with Paul McCartney through her psychic. We were a little hard on her for things like that. The composer of the film's score, Carl Zitterer, stated in an interview that he created the film's mysterious music by tying forks, combs, and knives onto the strings of the piano to wrap the sound of the keys. He also stated that he would distort the sound further by recording its sound onto an audio tape and make the sound slower. The audio for the disturbing phone calls were performed by multiple actors, including Mancuso and director Bob Clark. Mancuso stated in an interview that he stood on his head during the recording sessions to compress his thorax and make the voice sound more demented. Warner Brothers studio executives asked Clark to change the concluding scene to show Claire's boyfriend Chris appear in front of Jess and say, "Agnes, don't tell them what we did," before killing her. However, Clark insisted on keeping the ending ambiguous. The original title of the film was initially planned to be Stop Me. Clark has stated in an interview that he came up with the film's official title, saying that he enjoyed the irony of a dark event occurring during a festive holiday. According to Clark as well, Brothers changed the title to Silent Night, Evil Night for the United States theatrical release. Black Christmas eventually gained a cult following and is notable for being one of the earliest slasher films. It went on to inspire other slasher films, the biggest one of all being John Carpenter's Halloween. Black Christmas has been included in multiple lists in various media outlets as one of the greatest horror films ever. The film ranked number 87 on Bravo's The 100 Scariest Movie Moments. It was ranked at number 67 in IndieWire's The 100 Best Horror Films of All Time. Its entry stating that the plot sounds formulaic, but Black Christmas remains timeless thanks to its terrifying and elusive killer Billy, whose backstory is never revealed, as well as a foreboding ending that doesn't offer much hope for the film's final girl. And I truly think the strength of this film, besides all of the components I talked about, is that you don't know what Billy's motivation is. He's just this crazy man that gets into the sorority house. He's in the attic and he's doing all these things with the phone calls and attacking the sisters individually as they are vulnerable. And it's chilling because you never really see him. You see him in shadows. You see like through a doorway, you'll see his eye, and then he just sort of slowly goes back away into the darkness. And just very, very well done and very creepy. It stays with you. The horror comedy is really tough, and this is just absolutely one of the best because you'll be laughing one minute and then you're terrified the next. And it's just the way that not only the script is, the script was written, but also the way that it was directed. And I think every actor in this film is just absolutely brilliant in the roles that they have. So yeah, it's a classic. It's a film that I enjoy watching every year. Sometimes I even watch it when it's not Christmas time. I just love the compelling setting, the characters. They felt like real people that you would know. And I just think everybody does such a great job in this film. How scenes can go from really kind of, kind of tongue-in-cheek, silly, to very, very disturbing. It's done so naturally in this film. And I definitely recommend people checking it out. It's a perfect, horror film for the holiday season. So happy 50th anniversary to Black Christmas. I want to thank everyone for taking the time to watch this video. Let me know some thoughts down in the comment section below if you guys are fans of this film. But yeah, can't say enough great things about this film, and wanted to do something, like I said, to celebrate the 50th anniversary. Thanks so much for dropping by the Horror Zone channel. I hope everyone's doing well. I promise I'll talk to you again real soon. Take it easy. Stay scared as always. Peace. Hey, my fellow Fright Fiends, I just want to thank everyone for supporting BoogeyMan Ben's Horror Zone. If you haven't yet subscribed and you'd like to, please hit the subscribe button down below. Click the bell notification so you're updated every time I drop a new video. I try to drop a video at least once or twice a week. The Horror Zone is a passion of mine, and it really makes me happy that I can share that passion with all of you guys. Thanks so much again for the support, and I'll talk to you again real soon. Take it easy. Stay scared as always. Peace.